Hello and welcome to the 90's Guyz Podcast. My name's Brian.
And I'm Jed.
And you are listening to what we believe is the greatest podcast to ever grace the interwebs.
At least in our mind it is.
Yes. Episode number 13, by the way.
13.
Lucky number 13.
Oh, yeah. Yep, we got, our black cat is in here.
It is.
So, well, at least your black cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My black pussy. I like to bring it around with me.
Yeah.
You know how I do.
Well, you do. You love the black pussy.
You're disgusting. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't listened to our podcast before, we talk about all kinds of cool things from the 90s and 2000s. Cartoons, TV shows, movies, you name it. We're going to frickin' talk about it.
When are we going to get into the candy, Brian?
Oh, that's actually coming up soon.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We've been, saying that for a little bit now, and we still have yet to do any of it.
I purchased the candy yesterday.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Are you bringing in samples?
Maybe, if you're a good boy.
Oh.
You're not getting any samples.
I'm a bad boy.
Also, don't forget, you got to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at the 90's Guyz with a Z. Podcast,
yes. And then email us anytime at the 90's Guyz podcast at gmail.com.
Wow.
Guyz with a Z. I got it right.
Wow. Almost
on the
never
first
get that
try.
right.
So
I'm impressed.
there we go. Yeah, and we got some big news coming up. This weekend we are going to get our Patreon launched.
Yes.
And our merch launched.
Yes.
So
it's exciting.
Yeah, it's a big weekend for us, Brian.
It really is. And you know what? We have some pretty funny merch coming out, honestly.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Should we tickle their ass with a feather a little bit?
A little bit.
Okay.
I mean, you got, the
give
typical,
one.
typical teenage, everyone wants it. It's some tube socks.
We got tube socks.
Yep.
Let's leave it at that. We'll give them more info on the next one.
There we go.
But tube socks we have. Oh, my gosh. All right, let's dive right into it. I have something fun for you, my friend.
Ooh.
As I usually do.
Yes, you do.
We're going to do something pretty important today.
Uh-oh.
Okay, because I feel like we're on this show, and listen, we know a lot about the 90s. I would almost like to consider us experts, okay?
I don't know about you, but me, yes.
Oh. You know what? I have nothing for you. Watch this. Ready, pal? Hey, how's it going, Jed?
Hey.
Someone's microphone isn't working.
Turd.
All right, so we're going to determine something very important today, and it's all going to rest on your shoulders.
Okay.
So you F it up, and you're to blame.
Okay.
We are going to figure out what the best cartoon of the 90s and 2000s was.
Okay.
This is a very special segment. We just are starting this today, and it is called Battle of the Best.
There we go.
How do you like that?
That's nice.
Theme music and all.
Yeah.
So
it's all exciting and whatnot.
It is exciting. So what we're going to do is it's a 16 single elimination bracket.
Okay.
I put a bunch, 16 to be exact, cartoons from the 90s and 2000s on here, and you have to pick the winner.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Are we going to, do this more often? Or okay, so, are we going to hang on to all the winners and then put them up against a battle royale type thing?
Not exactly. I think we do different categories. We do TV shows, movies,
cool,
so on and so forth. Okay, here we go. Your first round. Powerpuff Girls or Rocket Power? Just give me which one you like the most.
I would say Powerpuff Girls.
Okay, Puff gets it. Dexter's Lab or Courage the Cowardly Dog?
Oh, come on. I have to go.
I know break my heart.
Yeah, I am going to break your heart. I like Dexter's Lab more than Courage.
Weirdo. Okay, Johnny Bravo or Real Monsters?
Real Monsters.
Yeah, I agree with that one. This one's going to break your heart. Camp Lazlo or Rocco's Modern Life?
Well, I'm going to go with Rocco. Camp Lazlo is really good, but it was done by the same people, so
right.
It's pretty much Rocco 2.0.
Yep.
So.
I figured that'd be a tough one for you.
Yeah.
Well, not really.
Not really.
Okay, SpongeBob or Gravity Falls?
Ooh, I got to go Gravity Falls.
I knew you would, but...
No, it's a good one to put up against each other, but I think Gravity Falls is fantastic.
You know what I think?
You bastard.
Yeah, you are. Okay. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends or Cat Dog?
Oh, that's probably the hardest one so far.
That's tough.
Oh. I'm probably going to go Foster's on that.
You know what? That was a tough one for me too, but I agree.
Yeah.
I think that's Foster's.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey Arnold or Doug?
Oh, man.
I know.
Seeing as how we just did Doug too, I would have to go old school Doug. So
I disagree. I would have gone Hey Arnold, but hey, this is up to you.
Yes.
You are the expert. Okay, this one, I think I know which way you're going to go. Let's see. Ed, Edd, and Eddy or Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy?
I got to go Ed, Edd, and Eddy.
Wow, I didn't think you were going to go that way.
Really?
You know what? I'm happy though, because I agree.
I love Ed, Edd, and Eddy.
Such a classic.
Yes, I love Plank.
Yes. It was so funny because my wife was homeschooled, and she didn't get to watch cartoons when she was growing up. And so I showed her Ed, Edd, and Eddy, and I didn't realize how much slapstick comedy it is.
Oh, yeah.
But we're watching it, and she's cracking up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, my God, they're like beating the crap out of each other, like ripping their tongues in half.
The funny thing is that's going to be a good one to do.
Can't
because
wait.
I have the theories and stuff to go with it.
Yes.
So that's going to be a fun one to do.
We'll have to do that one soon.
Yes.
Okay. We're moving on to the next round.
Okay.
This is getting serious. Powder Puff Girls or Dexter's Lab?
I have to go Dexter's.
Yeah. I agree with that one. But that's tough.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Okay. We have Real Monsters or Rocko's Modern Life.
See, that one's even tougher for me than the other ones because I love both of those. I have to go with Rocko though.
Yeah.
But that's a bad one to put up against each other.
It gets tough.
Yeah.
But I think
those
you made the
two
right
would
choice.
have been like in my final.
Really?
Up against each other.
You think?
That or
the top two?
Top two, either that or Ed, Edd, and Eddy. That would be like in the three.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because I loved Real Monsters.
Oh my, it was a classic. Which, that's going to be another show.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Okay. Gravity Falls or Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends?
Gravity Falls. I know. You're upset about
You're
that.
so wrong. I got to give you another one.
Have you ever watched Gravity Falls?
Yeah, but up against Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends?
The uncle.
Don't give me the uncle.
And then I love the stupid friend that gets trapped, switched with a pig. That episode's hilarious.
Wrong. Fine, I'm gonna put it down, but
hey, this is mine. So you shut your pie hole, Wing Chun.
I'll do whatever I want with my pie hole. Okay, moving on. Doug or Ed, Edd, and Eddy?
Ed, Edd, and Eddy.
Yep, agree with that. Ooh, this is getting serious. Okay, we're in the semifinals. Dexter's Laboratory or Rocko's Modern Life?
Rocko.
Yeah, got to do it.
That one's a little bit easier. This one's gonna be hard though.
Gravity Falls or Ed, Edd, and Eddy?
I think I'm gonna have to do Ed.
Ooh.
Ed, Edd, and Eddy.
Now, before you give us your final answer, let's just take a second. I don't blurt it out in case you know it. The finals are Rocko's Modern Life and Ed, Edd, and Eddy. I should mention, this is the battle of Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon.
It really is, yeah. And there was the tops of at times.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Okay, so think about this. Give me your answer. What do you think? Rocko's Modern Life or Ed, Edd, and Eddy for the #1 cartoon of the 90s and 2000s?
Mine, I have to go with Rocko, and that's only because I know more about Rocko. Don't get me wrong, I loved Ed and Eddy, but I religiously watched Rocko. Ed, and Eddy, if it was on, I watched it.
Rocko got it.
So
very fair. Congratulations.
But that was hard.
That was really tough.
Yeah.
But Rocko came out victorious, beating the crap out of Ed, and Eddy.
See, you shouldn't have put Rocko in there at all, and then it would have been a lot different.
Well, but that's the whole point. I want the best.
Yeah, I know.
I don't BS around. You know that about me.
So, well, let me say, in our next segment coming up, we have a very special guest coming in to talk about our topic this week. But we're going to have a little fun with him first. We're going to have 3 segments, and this is going to be a little bit longer podcast. So we're going to have my brother John come in.
Nice.
And
Johnny boy.
Yeah, he's one of my experts on the X-Men, which is our topic of the day. Him and I tend to talk about X-Men quite a bit, and he knows quite a bit more than I do. So I like to lean on him when it comes to Professor Xavier and his class of creatures.
Yes.
So, but he will be joining us in the next segment, but we're going to start off by doing random ass questions in the next segment with him.
Excellent.
Before we get into X-Men.
Perfect. Well, I'll tell you what, then let's not waste any time. Let's get right to it. Don't forget, you're listening to the 90s Guyz Podcast. Don't go anywhere. My name's Brian.
And I'm Jed.
And we will be right back in just a minute. Welcome back into the 90s Guys podcast. My name's Brian.
And I'm Jed.
And we are the 90s Guys. We are so glad you're joining us on what we hope is a pretty funny journey.
Yes.
We try.
We try, yeah.
We fail 90% of the time.
More like 99% of the time.
But thanks for joining us. We are pretty excited. We have a guest with us in the studio. Actually, can I say our first guest ever?
Yes, he is our first. You can say it, but
It's true.
Even if it wasn't true, you could still say it.
Okay. Mr. Technicality. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to have a very warm welcome for Jed's brother, John. How you doing, John?
Good. I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
I'm good, man. Let me give you a little round of applause.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
You're an honored guest. And we
Pull up a seat, man. Don't just stand there in the
come on.
corner.
Get on in.
Yeah. Brian's got an open lap if you need someplace to sit.
I've been there before. It's good.
He's not going back. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing well. It's Friday night. Happy to be here.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. This is pretty fun because everyone knows Jed from the podcast.
Yeah.
But now we're getting to explore the brothers.
Well, and I talk a lot about my brother on the podcast. I've mentioned him in
all
numerous,
bad stuff.
of course. Which
Truthful.
he's listened, so he knows exactly what I've said. So, but I do bring him up a lot because I have 3 older brothers, but John and I are closest in age and spent the more time together than. So
more than 90s together.
Yeah,
which is
well, a lot more than 90s
Nice.
together. So, which is why I wanted to bring him in for this X-Men one, because that was our Saturday morning thing, was watching X-Men. So
Yes.
Oh yeah.
He's got a lot of good knowledge about it.
he does, and he's got more knowledge as far as even past just the TV series. So it's good to have some background stuff going on. So
Awesome. So make sure you stick around. Next segment, we're getting into X-Men.
but
This segment.
we are doing random ass questions, the John version.
That's right.
So let's see what we can do here. If you could choose only one fast food chain, what would you pick?
Probably Jack in the Box.
Really?
Yeah, because they're
Even with the
chicken
hepatitis A going
You
around.
could chance it.
Yeah. That's funny. What is the stupidest thing you've ever done on a dare?
Ooh.
I dyed my hair black in high school. American Pie had just come out, and I
Jason Biggs!
Yeah, look a little bit like
He
Jason
looked-
Biggs in the 90s.
Yeah, he looked like Jason
so
Biggs. I remember that.
It was a mixture of like Jason Biggs and Adam Sandler. If they had a kid, that was me.
Did it work?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
he got
very
a few
black.
dates. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like that. I want to see some pictures.
Do we have any pictures?
Somewhere, I think my high school picture that year is still.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah.
it's on my mom's wall. We'll take you over there. You can see it.
Nice. Anytime, Jed.
Sorry. What secret conspiracy would you like to start?
Like to start. That's a good one. I would like to start
Any day, John.
that. I would like to start a conspiracy that Brian.
Uh-oh. Shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, you should have said something. Is actually Sasquatch.
Oh, that's funny.
That's so funny.
Because last week, Brian mentioned something about a conspiracy about our mother mating with a Sasquatch.
What I said was, I'd like to
You
spread the
son of a
rumor.
bitch.
I said I'd like to spread the rumor that your mom made it with a Sasquatch, and that's why Jed has that strange multicolored beard.
That's a theory.
It is now.
How
That's so
do-
funny.
How do you feel about pineapple pizza?
Love it.
Yes.
I know
You two are disgusting.
No, you're right on the money.
our older brother Jason hates pineapple on pizza.
I do too.
That's crazy. It's so good. It's sweet and salty.
He
and-
hasn't tried it though.
Oh yeah.
I just got into pineapple, period, and I don't like cooked vegetables, so
No.
why would I like cooked fruit?
Okay, there you go.
Big baby.
Yeah.
So suck it.
What about apple pie? That's
I don't
cooked.
like apple pie. I've never liked
Shut
apple
your
pie.
mouth.
I like pumpkin pie.
Shut it and keep
That's
it
a
closed.
vegetable. It's a
What?
squash. I don't
That's
know.
squash. It's a squash.
Yeah.
Whatever
It's
that
orange.
is.
It's orange.
What is the most embarrassing thing you've ever done?
Period.
This podcast.
Yeah. Agreeing to this. I went out for guys' night a few years back, and one of the guys brought a bunch of like foam cowboy hats, which that was embarrassing enough. But he took a permanent marker and drew a big penis, a big old dick on the hat,
Excellent.
and had to wear it all. We bar hopped down the loop, so like 4 or 5 bars. I had a cowboy hat with with a big old wang on the front of it. So.
And you got a lot of guys' numbers, I bet, didn't you?
It was an interesting night.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear what John heard that entire night? See John walking down the street.
Oh. All right. What board game do you hate the most?
Probably Monopoly.
Yeah, you guys all hate Monopoly.
It's a
It
quick
takes
answer.
so
Nobody
long.
would ever play it with me and my family. My mom
And math.
felt so sorry for me that she bought me a handheld one so I could play by myself.
She bought you a sorry?
No,
Oh,
handheld.
I'm sorry. Oh,
Here.
I mean, I apologize.
Are you drunk again?
I don't want to talk about it. You're outing me.
How do you feel about garden gnomes?
Positively? they have a purpose
What's the purpose?
Yeah, what is the purpose?
to bring jolliness to everybody's front
Brian
yard.
likes them because he still believes they come alive at night.
That's a conspiracy theory.
There you go.
Start that one.
We'll start that one. If you drop the soap on the floor, is the floor clean or the soap dirty?
I'm a firm believer that soap has like a force field around it. That's a conspiracy
There's
too.
another conspiracy, like flat Earth.
So it would be clean floor because the soap is bringing the cleanness to the floor.
There
So
go.
you would then eat off the floor if you had to.
If I had to,
Okay.
I'd be more apt to do it had soap been on that spot. That's for sure.
Okay.
I don't care. I'll just eat it.
Yeah.
Huh.
I've seen you do that.
After you survive the apocalypse, what would your job be?
First, I don't think I would survive the apocalypse.
I don't
think it's
think
shady. I'm just finding a bridge and calling it. But I would probably be like a taskmaster. Like
Taskmaster?
master. I'm sorry. There's a lot of K's in that sound. A taskmaster, and just like kind of make sure everything was happening in the right order. Real boring, but real important. It's
Probably steady work.
yeah.
Brian
There's
would be
lots to do.
Brian would be a master debater.
Damn right. I am right now.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh,
So-
wait. Don't look, guys.
All right. There
All
we
right. Random ask
go.
questions.
So I hope you guys learned a little bit more about my brother and how.
I think I did about myself. That
Yeah,
was good.
that's
good
the whole
question.
point. We want you to get deep inside your soul to answer these questions.
we do.
I have no idea.
Honestly, my opinion of your answers. Could you hear that? Hold on.
No.
Did anybody ask
No.
for opinions?
Well,
No. Oh, that's it, right?
He found the fart noise last week.
John's mic is off now.
He found the fart noise last week and has been obsessed with it since he found it. So.
Dude, listen. You don't love that?
You just do it too much.
I know.
There's no such thing. Fart humor is always good.
Amen. Pull my finger. Thank you. All right. Well, that was pretty good. I like that. That was our first random ask questions with a guest.
Yeah.
And I think he wins because he likes pineapple on pizza.
Yep.
I think you guys both deserve
We're gonna leave after
a
this. Actually, go
lobotomy.
get just a pineapple pizza.
No, you both
We would invite you,
deserve
but-
a lobotomy.
Yeah.
It's not really for people who don't like pineapple on pizza.
I'll get my ice pick out and give you both a lobotomy.
Cool.
It's been recorded.
Yeah.
We have proof.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. We're going to jump into a quick break, and when we come back, we are talking about X-Men.
Yes.
So don't go away. Also, don't forget, we are on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at the 90's Guyz Podcast.
And you know what we haven't said yet? We're on
What?
Spotify now, baby.
Oh, God, we're on Spotify.
We're on Spotify.
Come on. That's
That's
huge.
a big deal.
Where's
We're
the
still
applause?
working on iTunes, but man, we are on Spotify, people.
Yep. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, iTunes to come, but I think that's a big step beyond Spotify.
It's a huge step. I've been stoked about it. I've been telling all kinds of people about us being on Spotify, and people are like, "Yeah,"
Yeah.
because a lot of people use Spotify. So
Right. And snobby iTunes isn't having it yet.
I know we got
But-
to figure out what's going on with that.
You know what? When we get big, we're not going to be on iTunes.
Yeah, we are because that's we can still get money.
Yeah, I use it.
I'm too
And
proud.
you said we would never turn down anything for money.
You're right, I'm a whore. All right, don't go anywhere. We're coming right back in just a minute with more The 90's Guyz Podcast. Don't go away. Welcome back into the 90s Guyz Podcast. My name's Brian.
And I'm Jed.
And we are also joined in the studio by John, Jed's brother.
Yes.
Oh, hold on. What's that?
What's up?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey.
How you doing?
Would you mind
works.
turning his mic on, Brian?
You know what? I'm about to turn yours off.
So that we can, that's going to be a one-way
Converse.
conversation then.
Give me some sass and you won't get turned off. Before we jump into the segment,
myself off.
good for you. Before we jump into this first segment, I just got an alert on my phone, and it was a story that is shocking enough that I think it's worthy of breaking news. Do you mind if we do this real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, a new survey came out, and they found out that there's a new link to testicular cancer. And basically they say not washing your hands after using the restroom, it can link to it. Can you believe that? It's a good thing we all washed our hands after we left the restroom.
Yeah.
We took a bathroom break after the last segment, and Jedediah
Hey, I'm clean. I took a shower before I came here.
took a number one and then walked right out the door.
I didn't even touch my
What?
swing schwang.
Impossible.
No, I just popped it out the hole, man.
Popped whatever, man. I don't know. I was like, blah. I just want to give you trouble. I love you. Okay, moving on.
Tense in here, real quick.
Yeah, I got tense
Why? I'm fine.
because we're camping. We're intense.
No.
Boom.
Can we get a wah, wah,
Yeah.
wah?
I don't think I have that sound effect.
Yeah.
But the appropriate sound effect is probably. It was so funny. All right, let's move on. So, we're talking today about X-Men.
X-Men, the animated series.
We have our resident experts, Jedediah and John.
Yes.
Tell me what you know.
So, X-Men was just a fantastic Saturday morning cartoon that John and I loved to watch. We actually would wake each other up if one was sleeping to come watch the show. It was our favorite show ever.
Nice.
So, and I mean, we got to give all the love to Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, who are no longer with us, who created the X-Men to begin with, that brought us this show.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
So,
Did they? I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
Oh, no, you're good.
I was gonna say, did they have any influence on this show? Do we know?
Oh, yeah. Stan Lee was a producer on the first series, or like the first season. And I guess after like 10 episodes, they'd done so well that he kind of said, "You guys got this. Go ahead. Keep running with it."
Yep.
So,
That's a compliment.
yeah.
So, but I don't think I think Jack Kirby passed away before.
That I don't know. I don't
I'm
know
pretty
about
sure he did before the X-Men came out. So, by that time he was already done with, because he had moved on to.
Yeah, I don't think he was with Marvel.
No, he wasn't
anymore.
with Marvel
That was
anymore,
Stan
yeah.
Lee's baby at that point.
Yeah. But it's started in when did it start?
92.
92. Yeah, 92. October 13th of 92 is when it aired, and I actually watched a YouTube video a little bit about this, and the producer that actually pushed this through was a female, which is really awesome.
Wow.
And she struggled to get it through. Like, she tried for years, and Fox kept saying nobody's going to want to watch a cartoon show about as dark or whatever as X-Men was.
Well, they tried another show. It's called, I think, Pride of the X-Men. It was a pilot in like the late 80s, and it did not go over well. There was I guess Wolverine was Australian, which was fun.
Yes,
I would
yeah.
like to seen that. When then fast forward 20 years, and Hugh Jackman
Yeah.
is an Aussie. And
Yeah.
he was, he is Logan for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But it also had like a dragon that was like some sort of weird like mascot or
What?
something. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh,
I don't
and then
fully
it
get
wasn't even like, it was like Iceman was one of the main characters. And I mean, it wasn't what you think of X-Men the animated series with Beast and Rogue and Gambit and Storm. It was very few. Like, there was a super girl. I don't remember what her, like, she had the power of flight and something else, and like
So-
she was more magical.
Was it? Did it not follow the comic books?
Well, I think that there was Pride of the X-Men and then the X-Men animated series. They both took, storylines and ideas from the actual the comic books, but there's so many variations of teams and who's on.
true.
Because Iceman is definitely an original X-Men, but he was flashback to like the 60s or 70s. Iceman was on the Spider-Man show.
Yeah.
that's why they brought him on for the what I've been told or what I found was that they brought Iceman on for the Pride because he was already on TV.
On TV, yeah.
But then, I guess in the early 90s, what the hot team included like Jubilee and Wolverine and Storm. There were two storylines going on in X-Men comic books at that time. So
Yeah.
they kind of morphed,
They
pun
took
intended.
there you go.
There you go, nerd humor.
Morph is actually one of the characters too.
They killed him off the first episode.
First episode
What?
they killed him off.
Gangster, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
And Wolverine never got over it. Like Wolverine, I think he's like a tagline where it's like, "This is for you, Morph," or "Never forget Morph," or something like that. And
Yeah.
like he attacks
Nice.
a Sentinel or like an enemy, just that he just loses
battle
a little
cry
bit.
he
Yeah,
used.
that battle cry. That
let's hear it for Moth.
yeah.
So, but yeah. Speaking of which, who was your favorite? I mean, obviously, I knew you when growing up. I knew you're a huge Wolverine fan.
Yeah, Wolverine was definitely my favorite from that, like the X-Men. But the cool thing about that show was the additional characters that they brought on. Like the villains were awesome, and that's why like probably my favorite villain of all comic books is Apocalypse.
Yeah.
And it started with that show.
Yeah.
But then they had, like Cable played a huge part.
Yeah, I
in
remember
the
you
X-Men,
loving
and
Cable.
He was my favorite like extra character to this day. I still like him, the X-Force, and that's a whole other thing. But that TV show brought on a bunch of characters that I would never have known because they tied into so many other storylines and characters on the comic book. So
Yeah. So, and then mine always was Beast.
yep.
Yeah.
I love the big hairy blue guy that was super smart. I was a big fan of Hank McCoy.
Did
Yeah.
you know that Beast was actually not a part of the original cast or like the
Oh
team?
yeah.
They brought him on. I think he's arrested in the first series or
And
first
they,
season.
and they weren't supposed to. Yeah, but people liked him, so they kept him going.
Kept him
I
going,
remember that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, and that happens a lot. Like there's a lot of shows I've come to learn after finding some that a character was just supposed to have one episode or whatever, and then they kept them on.
The janitor.
We just talked about
The
this.
janitor,
Yeah,
and then the
Pinky
other
and
one.
the Brain.
Yeah.
They were Animaniacs, and they got
yeah.
their
Yeah.
own show.
yeah.
Well, then the other big one is Arrow, the blonde girl from the show Arrow, who's the computer genius. She was literally supposed to be on for that one episode she was in, and then she ends up becoming the love interest of the main character.
Wow.
So it's just one of those things that it's kind of cool. Like, and that's and so I was excited when I heard that he was only supposed to be on for either one season or one episode or whatever, but they kept him on for more because he was my favorite character.
He is awesome.
So, and then I knew you also loved Gambit.
I guess when I was younger, and I kind of grew up on it.
Yeah, no, don't lie. You loved his accent and wanted to
He's very
make
charming,
babies with him.
yes.
Oh.
So
Can I say who my favorite character was?
you don't have one.
Excuse you, you X-Men elitist.
You said you were just going to sit back and eat your food and not pay attention.
Okay, let's rewind the tape.
Oh,
I said that I-
let's point out Jed for not washing his hands, and now you're getting all defensive.
That's why you're
and
not
upset.
eating any of my food with your
I
dirty
touched
hands.
it all though. That's the weird thing is you're still eating
I
it.
thought it was a little peppery.
Yeah,
No, I loved Logan. I mean, or I guess is
it's
it
Wolverine.
Wolverine.
Logan, Wolverine. either
Okay,
one.
yeah.
We accept both answers.
Thank you. Ding, ding, ding. So it was kind of cool. I'm trying to see if my mom will send me the picture right now. But when I was a kid, I would watch this show or some kind of incarnation of it. And she also got me a book of tattoos of
What?
X-Men, tattoos.
Cool.
I had a whole sleeve. I'm trying to get the picture. Maybe by the end of the show, I can show you guys. We'll see.
How much
Well,
would
if-
it cost for you to get that now?
Temporary or permanent?
Permanent, like
I wouldn't mind getting that.
yeah.
It would cost me probably my marriage.
Oh,
Oh, she doesn't like tattoos.
Oh, I don't know. She does.
Oh.
I just like making a joke.
Oh, that's fine. Way to point out your own joke. I just was asking a simple question about your wife.
Well, obviously it wasn't funny.
no, it's super funny when you explained your joke.
Yeah, it's hilarious, Brian. So, but so anyway, so the big battle, at least the first season, was the X-Men versus the Sentinels for the most part. And I mean, it starts out with them destroying them all, trying to get Jubilee.
Yep.
And the X-Men coming and saving Jubilee.
Destroying a what?
A mall.
What? A mall?
All of those things that there'd be a bunch of there'd be one location.
A lot of
Okay.
them are outdoors now.
Yeah.
Oh,
And there'd be a bunch of
oh.
stores.
Okay.
and like food courts. That's the pizza that's really good. That's not good for you.
And all the 90s kids hung out in them
And
because there was nothing else to do.
All the little ladies walking in their little, their speed walking.
Yep.
So, but and then that really kind of was the first season was that, and then shortly after that, it started getting into like mutant rights and stuff like that, which is a lot of what was going on, still going on with segregation and stuff like that with why can't I think of the word? Help me out here, man.
Immigration?
That could with now, but I'm talking about in the 90s with not discrimination. That's what it was.
That's silly.
Discrimination, because the non-mutants were afraid of the mutants, and then you got Professor X and his group that want to be loved and not feared. They're there to help people. They don't want, and then you have Magneto and his group, which is the Brotherhood, right?
I believe so. I know Magneto took the less passive approach to interactions with human beings. He wanted to skin them all. So.
Yeah, and so that was just kind of the riff, like a lot of fear and all that stuff going on, which that relates to what was going on back when these comics were coming out with the civil rights movement and all that stuff. So it just kind of was Stan Lee and Jack Kirby's take on civil rights movement and all that stuff, and written in comic book form, which was done very well.
Yeah.
But it got into it a little bit into the series.
Oh, the series was super heavy and super dark. I was on my drive-in thinking about that, how they didn't really shy away from like topics of the day of like AIDS. There's whole run with the virus, immigration, segregation, discrimination. They were all part of that Saturday morning TV show.
Yeah. And we're 6, 7, 8, 9,
second, third grade.
Watching this and loving every second of it. Yeah. But I think that goes to show why you and I are so open to other people and stuff like that. It's because we watch this.
Thank you, X-Men.
Yes, but I mean, I know you say that kind of tongue in cheek, but at the same time, it really is, because they weren't shying away from telling people, hey, this is wrong and we need to change this.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And to start off with kids is a great thing, because we grew up and we had all different races of friends, and they would come and hang out at our houses, and we didn't think anything of it. And then as you get older and older, you're like, oh, you're not supposed to be. Why?
Yeah.
Right.
And what changes from us being in elementary school to us being in high school that it's no longer cool for us? And I never understood it. John never understood it. That's why we still, hang out with any other race that's out there. I mean,
it's about the person.
Yeah, and that's what it is. If you're cool to me, guess what? We're cool.
Right.
But if you're a dickhead to me, no matter what race you are, we're not cool. You know?
It's kind of funny in the 90s and I guess late 90s as well. They were doing a lot of that with cartoons. Like you can say Captain Planet. That was, it was all about a message.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I like that aspect of X-Men.
Well, I think I want to say they were the forebears, the first show to really do that. Because if you think back, Saturday morning on Fox was like Bobby's World, which we loved, and
Bobby Generic.
Yeah. Other random stuff, but X-Men felt like a soap opera for kids.
Oh, yeah. It did. Yeah, big time. Yeah. So, and a lot with that was like when we were talking about when we did the game, and I didn't know the Gargoyles answer. I heard Gargoyles was a lot like that. It was very dark, very other subject, a lot like X-Men.
And then you had Batman, the animated series, too, which again was a cartoon, but we watched a couple hours a few months ago, and it holds up because it's 90s cartoons, but they're good stories, and the X-Men TV show, they took some of the best stories of X-Men, all the stories, historic stories, like the Phoenix and Days of Future Past, and they put them on TV so well. And I think a lot of the fact that they were approached those, and they didn't dumb them down, but they made them understandable for kids to view and to watch and to appreciate. It's a talent of the people that wrote that show for sure.
But so like I said, it's very in your face with stuff, and that's one reason that made it a good show. But the animation was also fantastic, and yet again, it was the voice acting with the people they picked to play. Like for the longest time, Wolverine / Logan, I couldn't see a picture of him without hearing that voice.
I still, over Hugh Jackman, hear
Yes.
that guy's voice.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see Hugh Jackman in my head, but that's for other reasons too. But I hear the cartoon's actor's voice. In
And
my
then my favorite, Rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Southern draw. Oh,
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
There's so many other little villains too, like Mystique was incredible in that show too. But they weren't just throwaway villains. They really wrote them well, and they didn't kill them off like a lot of TV shows or will do.
Yeah, and then another one of mine, speaking of Mystique, was I loved Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Who was, the son of was it Sinister? What was the guy? I don't remember his name. But it was Mystique and another mutant son, and he could morph through walls and stuff like that, which is really cool. And then the life of Archangel was really good in that, because he started out with Apocalypse and as a bad guy, and then by the end of his time on the show, he was pretty much an X-Men.
He was one of my favorites too, from that show.
So there's a ton of great characters. I know you loved Bishop, because we used to talk about Bishop, which it actually got us into other characters. I don't remember him being in the show, but I remember us falling in love with him, which was Deadpool. Oh. And you and I saved up money, and we bought a Deadpool toy action figure because of that. But
that was circa like 95, 96.
Yeah, that was before Deadpool was cool, and John and I were into that. But I just remember, and then we got it, and you would always play with it and wouldn't let me, even though we split it.
Oh, wow.
Big brother tax.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably some nugget of truth in that.
But that leads to when we were getting ready for this show this week and whatever, I was thinking to myself, and it reminded me of the little comic book shop that we used to go to and House Springs, out by where my dad lived.
I know the one.
Yeah.
It's not there anymore, right?
No, it's gone. But we used to, maybe once a month or something like that, our dad would take us out there, and we just spend like an hour in there looking at comic books and stuff like that. But it really started because of X-Men, because I don't remember before that us really doing anything like that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I think the first Batman movie kind of planted the seed of being in comic books, and it was, for me, it was the TV show had just come out, the X-Men. One of my best friends ever was really big into comics, and then action figures.
Yeah.
Once I started buying the action figures and I could do the things at home that I was watching on TV, that was hook, line, and sinker. That was it for me. So
now, did you guys read a lot of the X-Men comics?
We had a few.
Okay.
I've started reading more comics later in life. I didn't really didn't read a whole lot of comics younger, but the older I get, now that I have like a library card and bank account, I can go and actually like buy the ones I want and get the ones I want. So
and that was that's kind of, I'm kind of the same way. I've kind of gotten into comic books more again as I've gotten older. So
are you a comic book guy, or are you a graphic novel guy more?
Novel.
Graphic novel definitely, but that's all that graphic novel usually is like, especially when it comes to like The Walking Dead or whatever, it's like 5 of the comics smushed together into one book.
Oh,
and
is
that's
that
what
how it
makes a graphic novel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
last summer I read a graphic novel Batman story, which led into a bunch of like single comic books I had. So it was like back filler to that whole story I'd already known about. So it was really cool. But yeah, usually they either do solo comic books like graphic novel, or they tie them into other stuff.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, so but it's kind of graphic novel. You kind of get a little more bang for your buck type of thing. Like you're going to spend $4 or $5 on a comic book, but you're only going to get that. But then you could get a whole series for like $15,
and you can finish it. You're not like waiting. Yeah. You maybe won't lose interest.
Yeah, you don't have to wait for the next one to come out. You get it all right then and there.
Yep.
So.
Right up in your face.
Right up in your face.
So let me ask you guys this. In terms of superheroes, would you say that the X-Men are some of your favorite superheroes, or are you just an admirer of the show?
I actually am. So when it comes to actual like comic book or teams, I'm big time Marvel. But when it comes to like individuals, I'm actually big time DC. Ooh. I like Batman by far is my all time favorite.
Yeah.
but that's a lot because of what John said with the movies. Michael Keaton's Batman, those were
ridiculously good.
But yeah, I actually am a fan of X-Men as a whole and what goes with it, like the whole universe that they're in with the different, like Cable and Bishop and Deadpool and Beast and Nightcrawler. Like, yes, I'm a big fan of that. But when it comes to individuals, I'm more into, especially when it comes to villains. My favorite villains are more DC, than X-Men, type, or even Marvel.
Yeah, I think the X-Men show planted the seed.
Yes,
and I think some of my favorite characters come out of that world. I don't think they're my favorite team or anything like that, but they definitely, that show and learning about the team, and because they would always have that cross, they'd pull in other Marvel characters on the show and then other comic books, so you come across like a Deadpool or Captain America or Spider-Man. I think I had like a Spider-Man Wolverine team up, I think in like comic books or something like that. It was something to that effect, where it was somebody that wasn't in the world and an X-Men character like going on a book together. So it was a gateway drug for sure.
Right.
I got the X, and then I went from there. So,
and that's fair. I mean, I've had stuff like that where you love a show, you really admire it, but it's not your favorite, but it can still be like an incredible show.
Oh yeah, this is still probably one of my favorite Saturday morning cartoons of all time.
Top three.
Oh yeah, definitely of just Saturday morning cartoons.
Right.
Yes. Top three. I mean, there's other ones that I did like a lot. I mean, John and I have talked about Things to Go Bump in the Night.
Yep.
Oh, so I love that too. But that was more claymation than it was cartoon.
Yeah.
So it's a little different. But as far as like had to watch, I don't remember us missing very many of the X-Men. It would have to be we were on vacation or something like that to miss it.
Yeah, it was kind of a big deal for me. Once we started watching that show, I was like, this is my thing. This is what and to this day, I think being a fan of that TV show has turned me into, like, I spend a third of my free time researching comic book stuff, but
because he's a nerd like us.
Oh, is that what we define ourselves as?
Yeah, we have it all over our social media.
That's true. And I don't know if no one knows this besides us, but a lot of times before a show, we'll put our hands in and go,
yeah,
nerds on three.
Nerds on three.
1, 2, 3, nerds.
So,
yeah, and I was going to mention too, when it comes to Saturday morning cartoons, that's kind of a concept that kids nowadays
they
have
don't get.
No perception of.
I don't think there are any actual cartoons on Saturday mornings anymore.
Right. I actually watched a YouTube video on it, and it was the question, what happened to Saturday morning cartoons?
Yeah.
And it was crazy, and it was because what Saturday morning cartoons was just not the cartoons, it was the advertisement too.
Oh, yeah, that's mostly what it was, yeah.
Yeah, and they had great commercials. Well, having Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon be able to get cartoons 24/7 as opposed to certain times. That's what killed Saturday. But I mean, there's still times I wake up on Saturday morning, I'm like, man, I wish some Saturday morning cartoons are on.
There was a couple years ago, there was a Spider-Man TV show on Channel 11, and I think that was the last one that I found. And when I was home, I would be like, I'm gonna watch this just out of principle.
Yeah,
it's a comic book character on Saturday mornings.
I'm feeling nostalgic.
Yeah. Where's my cereal?
Get me my Cocoa Puffs and my PJs.
I need a big old bowl. Yeah. Give me a big old bowl of Frosted Flakes.
Ooh, that's what you're into?
Yeah. I like them Frosted Flakes.
Sounds great.
You got them French fried taters back there.
Oh, my God. What did Jed morph into?
I have no idea.
Sling Blade.
He's fitting his beard.
Yeah. Went from Saturday mornings to Sling Blade.
Yeah. So,
gosh.
Hard right turn.
Yeah. X-Men, just an incredible cartoon.
It is, and like John said, it's more like a soap opera for kids. And if you're into that stuff, please give it a watch. It's great. It's fantastic. The voices are great and memorable. Like I said, like I look at, and don't get me wrong, I think Kelsey Grammer did a great job as Beast, and I was worried about it at first because he's my favorite character. But for the intellect part of it, he was perfect. But like John said, when he looks at Wolverine, or even Logan, he still hears I still hear Hank McCoy's voice from the cartoon whenever I see Beast in the movies. So
that's one of those fun nostalgic things.
Yeah,
you'll always be in your head.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was great, and it had a wide variety of mutants in it and all that stuff, and they touched on a lot of good subjects that I think are still prevalent today. So you can still get something out of it. And I've actually watched a couple episodes. It was on either Netflix or Hulu or something.
I think it's on Hulu now, I think.
It was. I don't know if
yeah.
it is anymore. And I watched the first season of it, and it still holds up. Like, it's not one of those ones that because, oh, this was cool when I was a kid. No, because of the fact that it's as deep and dark as it is, it still holds up really, really well.
Yeah, and that the fact that it was so serious and so dark, that's to the movies, the comic book movies I get into now, or with the books I read, they're more serious and more dark. I get made fun of by some of my friends because they like the more fun, laid back stuff.
Well, they're not cool then.
Losers.
They like happy things, but I like a dramatic.
Well, that's because
story from the X-Men.
You have to know our family to understand that aspect of it. We don't like happy stuff.
No.
You're a bunch of downers.
Yeah. So
I still love you guys.
yeah.
Oh, thanks,
well,
man.
we love you too, Brian.
Prove it.
Oh, okay.
Take that shirt off. Come on. Let's go. Woo! That's a whoa.
I'm uncomfortable.
Wow, we touched on a lot.
Yeah, that was a good show. I like that one.
That was
That was
fun.
good. I
Yeah.
was glad. Thank you, John, for coming in.
Thank you, John.
Yeah,
You're
thank
the
you.
man.
One of my favorite things.
Thank you,
Yeah.
the man.
Yeah.
Dang. Well, you know what? We'll have to have John again in the future.
I would agree. I mean,
love
this
it.
was great.
What
This
else
was great.
is John knowledgeable on that we could bring him in for?
He's romance novels.
Fabio in particular.
Mostly
Yeah.
Fabio.
Yeah.
Things that have Fabio in them or on them. Sign me up.
What?
Like in the book?
You want Fabio in and or on you?
Was that, did I say that? Is that what? It's recorded.
We can get him on in a couple shows about certain things. That,
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there for all the 90s.
Yeah.
So
You were. It's
I
true.
would- yeah.
I mean, he was drunk through part of them,
Right.
but
you got to get through
what
this,
Walls
you know.
Boys wasn't.
Ergonomics didn't work for me. It
Yeah.
was hard. So
Love it.
So
All right. Well, X-Men, if you have... Oh, my God.
my flip flop just broke. Like it legit broke.
how did that even happen? You're sitting down.
I lift my foot up and it broke.
Jed is like... He's
I've
a
had
miracle
these
worker.
flip flops for like 10 years.
Well, that's why.
Yeah, that's why they just
but
snapped.
they're my flip flops.
They're Old Navy.
How are you going to get out of the
one
building?
season.
I'm going to have to hop.
You're going to have to walk out without a shoe on.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, just roll.
Fireman
Brian,
right here.
Brian, can I get a piggyback?
Oh, God, no. We actually have a policy here on the 90s Guys podcast. If your sandal breaks in the podcast, we have to beat you with it until you bleed.
That's going to be a while.
Thick-skinned.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Well, hey, we should remind everybody that we are now on Spotify.
Yes.
Spotify.
Yeah, and we're trying for iTunes, fellas and ladies. Don't worry, we're going to get there eventually.
We are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those weird things. It's just like, we got to get past the gatekeeper.
Yeah, and then we will be launching our Patreon and merch this weekend.
The merch looks awesome.
The merch looks great, and I love the fact that we have two different types of T-shirts too.
Yes.
Like two logos.
We have to give another huge shout out to my buddy Peyton.
Peyton.
He did
Thank you,
such
Peyton.
an amazing job on the logos.
He did. They're fantastic, and
Yeah.
we appreciate it very much.
Yes. And we're sending little kisses to you. It always gets creepy.
Yeah.
Okay, before we wrap up, I just want to make sure you hear this one more time. I know you'll miss it until next time we meet. You need another?
No, I'm good.
You got it anyway.
No, that one was real, Brian.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. Have the audio potted. Okay, again, we always have to reiterate. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at the 90s Guys Podcast with a
Z.
That's right. And what's our email?
It is the 90s Guys Podcast at gmail.com.
Oh, okay.
With a Z as well. Please send us some emails. We have yet to get any. Most of what I've been getting for people to ask for us to do certain shows is on, Instagram or Facebook.
Right.
So please email us. Let us know how we're doing.
Yeah.
We,
And also, I do have a note from you here about the email.
is it your three-sided paper? Three-sided paper?
It might be. But you asked me here. You said you have one request. When people email you, make sure that they don't send... Oh, no, they do send dick pics.
Yeah.
You do want dick pics, right?
Yeah, apparently I do. According to you, I want a lot of them.
Oh, wait. There's a double side to this. Hold on one second. You also... No, I have nothing. All right, that's going to do it for this episode number 13. Make sure you join us next time. We have so much more to talk with you about. Again, we are the 90s Guys. My name's Brian.
And I'm Jed.
And we will catch you next time.
What?